Welcome to Potential Moveset, a mini-series that I'm doing until the game Jump Force releases. Now let's start off with a few facts about Cat's Eye before we continue. Its manga has sold over 18 million copies, making it one of Weekly Shonen Jump's best-selling manga of all time. And its most recent crossover appearance is in a game called Jump Stadium. Now, as far as Jump Force is concerned, I think Hitomi and potentially her sisters with Hitomi stand a good chance. Now, I'll be using the 1980s TV series and the manga, but mostly the TV series for her fighting. Now, I wouldn't usually spend too long talking about a character's personality and how that could transfer into their style. But when it comes to Hitomi, I think that Rui and I will be a part of her moveset in some capacity. So we're going to integrate both of her sisters into a moveset, and with her being the main one. Now, how could this be integrated? Now, as you can see right there, Hitomi, Rui, and I all have their own personality traits that make up the group. Now, they all transfer to Hitomi being more balanced in speed and strength, Rui being the strongest sister but slowest, I being the fastest sister but weakest. And that could all wrap up into a super defensive gimmicky play style, with buff, debuff switching between the sisters. Let's start the moveset off with a few mobility options for Hitomi and her sisters. Now, of course, let's start with the guard on the bottom left. Now, most likely, you're going to be seeing the picture on the left as her guard, or it could possibly be her defending with a foil as her guard as well. But as we move towards the top right of the screen, we can see her mobility. Now, this is extremely important. Her and her sisters usually ride around with a motorcycle. I think that could be integrated into her moveset as her running animation, similar to how Gintoki is from J-Stars. And now this is also very important. They usually use a glider in the series, and I could definitely see that being some type of double jump to glide. Now, moving on to Hitomi and her sister's potential grab. Now, the panels right here, the black and white panels, most likely that's what you'll be seeing as both her Hitomi and their sister's grab, as they all count as one character. Now, of course, it'll be a very assassin, very thief-like stab to the neck with the elbow. Now, alternately, I could definitely see them doing something with the foil here, as you can see on the panels on the right, but most likely you're going to be seeing these black and white panels be their grab. Now it's time to move on to her and her sister's potential combo attacks. Starting off with the light attack combo, going from left to right. Nice right jab, then a left jab, then another high kick, possibly a right high kick, and then another left high kick, or either or. Now you can definitely see the panel in the middle being the second panel, being the light smash attack. Now this is something very important to note, that every sister will have these same light and heavy attack combos. As I said, they count as one character, and we're going to talk about how they switch in a moment. But before that, we got to talk about her potential heavy attack combo. Now this one, I think, is going to be involving a lot of kicks, because usually they kick a lot in the series. So I can see a nice big right kick, then another left kick, and then a little mini jump going for a little drop kick, and then as she lands, the animation is her turning around, pretty much like a little mini backflip, and doing a nice dragon kick that could also potentially be her heavy smash attack as well. Now this is something very simple and very thief-like, that you most likely will be seeing this for her moveset. Now it's time to move on to Hitomi and her sister's potential super moves. Now the first one, I think, is a given. It's going to be involving her attacking with the calling card. Their very famous cat's eye card that they leave behind to signature when they're going to attack next. Now, I can see this being implemented like a stance move that could be charged up to 3 times, and if you charge it successfully, you can shoot in the directions left, right, forward. And basically they'll pretty much keep out your opponent. And the second one being a short range smoke bomb. Now this is interesting. I can definitely see this being a effect change for each sister. Now for Hitomi, it could be something to avoid light and heavy attacks temporarily, probably a 2-hit, 3-hit heavy attack until the smoke disappears, or potentially you can move back, so pretty much protect you. Eyes could be a sleep bomb that could do damage over time, and Rui's, it won't be a bomb at all, it'd just be a shotgun. Remember, she's the strongest member, so her having a very strong shotgun could be very interesting to implement in the game. Now here's another interesting move for Hitomi and her sisters. A cat's counter, a ring that she used to blind her opponent when activated. Now when you activate this move, it does no damage to your opponent, but in exchange, you temporarily blind your opponent instead. Now, we have yet to see a very solar flare-like move like this in a game, and I think this will be good in a game like Jump Force, especially when you have multiple team members. Now, imagine this scenario. If you have higher health than your opponent, and you're already playing the super defensive character that is Hitomi and her sisters, having this on your arsenal means you could try to kind of time scan your opponent. So that's one way this move can be very useful. It may be the weakest counter in a game, but it could be very useful in strategy. And finally, how do you switch the sisters? Cat switch, a stance move that allows you to switch the sisters. Now here's how it's going to go down. You do the stance, and you have 3 options. Now, for an example, let's just say you're Hitomi. Remember, you start off with Hitomi, and you do a light attack combo, and you wanna end that combo. You can end it with I by pressing, if you're on the Xbox, you press RT, B, then X, then I dive kits, finishing the combo, and you switch the I, and you have all her little buffs and debuffs alongside her. So that's basically how it's going to work. And with Roy, of course, she walks forward and swings a cardboard of her that she did in the anime. And that would be very elegant like attack. Of course, Hitomi does a very standard forward high kick move. Now, this could be a very interesting combo enders that they could implement into the game for their sisters. And of course, her final move, which I call the cat's eye, could be a running dash move with the motorcycle. That's cool. Remember, that's her movement. So having that being in that could very much be like a little mix-up thing going on there. Now, I can see it being a running dash with a motorcycle that activates a cinematic. Now, here's how it's going to go down. Now, of course, you run you over. Once you successfully hit your opponent, you run your opponent over with the motorcycle. Now, you can start off and an eye comes out. No matter if she's on a motorcycle or not, in the scene previous to that, on the cinematic, she punches you in the gut, and then Roy throws a little bomb on the floor, and then Hitomi trips you into the bomb, and then throws a card into the bomb, and the bomb explodes, and they all fly away with their glider towards the screen. A very cinematic, very quick, little thing going on. I definitely see that being implemented into the game. Now for a final look at her moves in Jump Force format. Calling card, cat's counter, cat switch, and the cat's eye. I'm very confident you will definitely be seeing the calling card be implemented either in a super move or in her regular light and heavy attack combos to some degree. And I truly believe her sisters will be a part of her moveset if she gets in, and should be a part of her moveset. Because wherever she goes, they go type of situation. Now, thank you for watching, and tell me what character you would like to see in a game and like to see me do next. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more Jump Force and potentially other game content. I am Shin Tone, and until the next confirmation, see ya.